I just got back from seeing It Chapter 2, and I'll have my non-spoiler review for you right after this. Welcome back to Pop Up Fizzle. I'm Jeff. Normally, I am joined by my wife, Heidi. She, however, is at work and did not go to see It Chapter 2 with me. She is going to see it with me in a few days, and we will be back with a spoiler review at that point. However, right now, this is a non-spoiler review. I'm just going to give you my thoughts, and I'm sorry for the strange location. I don't have a place to film right now, so this is the best I can do. I was one of the people who thoroughly enjoyed Chapter 1 of It. Big fan of the original miniseries as well, as cheesy as it could be at times. Confess that I have not read the book. Almost everything I know about the story comes from the original miniseries and what my wife has told me about the book. So when we do our spoiler review at a later date, then we'll get into maybe some of the differences between the books and the movies and that kind of thing. But for right now, this is just my thoughts about It Chapter 2 and whether or not I think you should go see it. Like with most movies these days, or actually everything on the internet, it seems like people are divided about this. I've seen a lot of people who loved the first movie who did not like Chapter 2. That's a little bit mind-boggling to me, but to each his own, or her own, or whatever. But anyway, my thoughts are as follows. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. Didn't really have a lot of expectation about Chapter 2, other than, again, kind of remembering the original miniseries and also the fact that I really enjoyed the first one and that it had the same director behind it, Andy Muschietti. So I was looking forward to seeing Chapter 2. Knew that it would take place in more modern times, and it certainly did. But I went in, not determined to like it, not determined to hate it, just kind of the way I go into most movies. And I thoroughly had a good time. I enjoyed it. I've seen complaints that it's not scary enough. I would differ with that. I thought it was plenty scary and certainly different from the first one. I think, and this is, again, not getting into spoilers here, but I think a lot of probably what people loved about the first one that makes them have a problem with the second one is that the first one, because it was set in the 80s, was very nostalgic. And it came out right after Stranger Things was a huge phenomenon. So the notion of this one being set in modern time kind of takes that nostalgia factor away a bit. I mean, we get some bits of the past, of course, but yeah, for the most part, this thing is set in modern times. And so it feels like perhaps it's just missing that little bit of nostalgia element, and maybe that keeps some people from thinking it's the best, or it's less good than it should have been, I guess I should say. Anyway, this continues the story from where we left off 27 years, actually, after the events of the first movie, and we do get to see some bits of what happened 27 years ago that didn't make it into the first film. I thought that was interesting as well. Anyway, the way that we rate films on this channel is with either a pop, a double pop, or a fizzle. Fizzle just means don't bother wasting your time. Pop means it's definitely worth seeing, but you don't necessarily you don't necessarily have to see it on the big screen and pay the big money. And then a double pop means stop what you're doing, rush out and go see it. Now, for me, and we'll see how Heidi feels about this after we take her to see it, but yeah, for me, it's going to be somewhere between the pop and the double pop. If you enjoyed the first movie and you're ready to see how this story ends, I can't imagine you not at least liking it. Now, maybe you won't love it as much as you love the first one because it's missing that nostalgia factor. But story-wise, I think that you should enjoy it. I thought the character work was done. I thought the casting was superb. So, I think if you are super in and you appreciate kind of what happened in the first movie, this will probably be a double pop for you. If you were kind of iffy on the first one, then maybe wait for it to hit streaming or something like that. Anyway, those are my thoughts, as brief as they were, but we will definitely be back with a spoiler discussion after Heidi sees it. So she's off sometime this week. So as soon as we see it together, we'll record a longer form video in which we kind of break down our thoughts about the movie overall in a space where we can talk spoilers. This has been my non-spoiler review. If you like the video, be sure and click that thumbs up button and consider subscribing to the channel. We love it when you do that. We're a tiny, tiny channel. We're trying to grow a little bit at a time with the people that appreciate what we're doing, which basically means just a couple of goofballs that enjoy watching movies and talking about them. So if that's your kind of thing, then certainly consider subscribing to the channel and click that little bell icon. I don't think that does anything anymore, but you never know. So anyway, that's it for me. Until next time, folks.